It's good to see a full house here. Welcome. My part of the presentation is basically DFW Airport is requiring. Now, some of the stuff sounds very basic, but it's important to provide the information that we're asking for and to place it in the tab sections that we are requesting it. The reason why is basically, as you can see in this room, we've got several hundred people who are very interested in doing business with DFW Airport. And so we're going to have a lot of proposals to review. To have a well-organized proposal is very key in making sure that we effectively and efficiently review each of those proposals. And so it's important that you follow the instructions with regards to the information we're requesting and making sure that that information is in the correctly tabbed section. It will be better for our evaluation team. And frankly, if you can organize a proposal well, it does give an opportunity for you to make a very good first impression. If you can follow instructions and you can submit a good proposal, that makes a very good impression on the evaluation team. Conversely, if you have a disorganized proposal and the information is not in the right tab sections, that also can make a very negative impression upon your proposal. Another critical item is to make sure you adhere to the page limits. Now, anybody that's gone to college and submitted papers to their professors, you've experienced that. You've got to meet this page limit. I remember I had a professor who said you have a 2-page limit double space, and if you went so much as one word over 2 pages, you started with a B. Yeah. Needless to say, we didn't have too many going past 2 pages there, but it's important that you adhere to the page limits. I mean, we understand that you have a lot of information to share, but you have to make your proposal succinct and targeted to the type of concession that you're bidding and the type of information that we are asking for. And so also appreciate the fact that these committee members will have many, many proposals to look at, and we need to make sure that we adhere to those page limits so that we can do it effectively, again, efficiently, so we can make those decisions on who we're going to recommend to the airport board for our contract award. It's also critical that you have your proposal deposit. Any proposal received without the deposit will not be reviewed. It will be returned unopened and not reviewed. So, very clear, get your proposal deposit with your proposal. Make sure that if you have questions, you need to meet the deadline that's stated in the RFP. We've given you a specific date and time in which we have to receive your questions. You must adhere to that so that we have time to respond and frankly research the necessary information to give you the kind of response that you need in order to provide an effective and responsive proposal. So make sure that you're making those deadlines. Late proposals will not be considered. Now, I'll tell you, as contracts manager in the last 6 months, I've had to return at least 8 bids or requests for proposals because they came in late. It's not good for us. Obviously, it's not good for you because you put all that hard work into it, and to have a late proposal come in and to go back to your colleagues and say, hey, I'm having to bring this proposal back because I got it in late. You just don't want to be put in that situation. I'll give you a really specific example. I had a bid that came in 2 minutes late. The guy simply dropped the box, and the proposal documents went everywhere, so he had to go and collect them, put them back in the box, try to reseal it, and give it back, and get it to us in time. Obviously, he didn't do it. But don't allow yourself that kind of margin of time to get your proposal in. Don't wait to the last minute. Don't drive here just to get here just in time. Give yourself some time limit in case there's an accident on the road or some other traffic incident that might slow you down. It's better to be hours early than a minute late. It's also important to make sure that part of being the proposal being well organized is to make sure that it's easy to follow, that the information that you're providing, your concept, your approach is clearly understood and is clearly provided as the instructions request. Because frankly, a proposal that can be confusing, and I've seen some where the information is very confusing, you're not going to get very far in the proposal process if we don't understand your concept and how it will work at DFW International Airport. Your concept may work in other locations, but we're interested in how your concept will work in an airport environment. So it's very important that it flows well, it's easy to understand, it's easy to evaluate. And I would also caution that you don't get too caught up in some very broad, generalized statements, what I would sometimes call the canned sales pitch. I mean, I understand that sometimes companies have marketing departments and they've given you some basic information, something that you would put in a pamphlet. That kind of general and broad information might be good in some cases, but we want to know specifically how your concept works at DFW Airport, how it would work for our customers, our clients that are flying through this airport. How are you going to attract business, maintain good customer service, and frankly, you make a profit and we make a profit. We need to understand that and the way it works here at DFW Airport. Also be careful about cutting and pasting. Now again, I understand, and frankly, I've done it myself, where you cut and paste from previous proposals because there's some good information, some good research that you've done in submitting previous proposals. But I've also seen some where they cut and they paste and they leave the name of the other client on the document. You know, they don't say DFW Airport, they say the City of Dallas, or they say City of Garland. Well, it doesn't make a good impression when you're mentioning other clients in your proposal. Again, I appreciate the fact that cutting and pasting is an effective way, an efficient way to get the information in, but you got to proofread. And I would strongly recommend that after you've reviewed your proposal, have somebody else look at it. Have fresh eyes look at it. Somebody, maybe a friend or somebody, a colleague in the industry that you're in that's not submitting a proposal, have them take a look at it and make sure that it communicates what needs to be said in order to make the most effective presentation for the evaluation committee. Now there's some steps, some very basic steps in order to make sure that your proposal is effective and would be a good candidate for further consideration. Make sure that you conform to the minimum requirements. You know, there's an old saying, you never get a second chance to make a great first impression. And frankly, while we've got people, we've got folks out here that have submitted proposals to the airport before, may even be current concessionaires with the airport, you still have to make a very good first impression for this particular request for proposal. Everybody starts at ground zero. Everybody starts with the same score. So it's important that you make that first impression the very best impression you can. You know, while proposals are negotiable, it's important to understand that your proposal has to be competitive and responsive in order to make the next phase. So, you know, the committee's going to have a tough decision to make. We've got very good companies out here vying for this business. And so it's very important that you provide a good proposal in order for us to make the right cutoff. Once you've submitted a proposal, and once you've given us the information that we've requested, you know, your company, your partners, your subcontractors must be prepared to interview. So it's important that you coordinate with those individuals to make sure you have a appropriate information in order for us to understand your proposal in writing. Because let's face it, you can only say so much in writing, but in an interview phase, you have an opportunity to make a great impression about your company. We want to make sure that all the parties involved, you as the prime or the subcontractor or your partners, are giving us a cohesive, easy to understand approach while we are interviewing your company. Next thing, once you've had an opportunity to review your proposal and to provide an interview opportunity, we are going to look at shortlisting. Obviously, we cannot award the contract to everybody who submits a proposal. So we're going to have some steps to go through in order to shortlist. And we will have those interviews, and I would ask that you be very flexible about your schedule. Obviously, we've got many companies out here interested. We're going to be shortlisting these proposals, and we're going to ask you to accommodate our schedule as much as you can in order for us to conduct the interviews. Understand that we're going to have several individuals from DFW Airport, vice presidents, even executive vice presidents involved in reviewing your proposals and in also being part of the interview process. So, as you can imagine, it's very difficult to get all those schedules to work together. So if we give you a time and a date, we would ask that you, your partners, your subcontractors, be as accommodating as you can to meet that specific date and time that we give you. Because again, it is very difficult to get all these important individuals together at any one time. You've heard the old saying, it's like herding cats. Well, it is like herding cats. It really is. So again, please be very accommodating with your schedule.